Hey guys, welcome to Full Bore Silver, emergency silver precious metals cast. We have just breached 63.50 an ounce on silver. This is incredible. Every day it seems like we break new highs. We had the rate cut yesterday. We have the Fed buying treasuries. We have record repo injections into the economy. M2 money supply, all-time highs. But the S&P and NASDAQ are chopping sideways or going down. They're doing nothing. Bitcoin is doing nothing or going down. The real assets, precious metals, the entire world is rolling into precious metals. This is an inflection point in humanity, in the world economy, in investment. Precious metals, what a time to be alive. This is the most exciting market in the world right now. Aside from maybe drug running through the Caribbean with 150,000 US troops down there, okay, maybe it's the second most exciting market, but this is incredible. I've been talking with Aaron, Texas Silver, this morning about these. I mean, we are just smashing through levels. And I have to say that the best investment advisor I've ever had in my entire life is Aaron over at Texas Silver. The guy got me in largely to precious metals, especially silver, several years ago. I can't thank him enough for the guidance, the mentorship. He pushed me to do a regular chat on YouTube. Just a fantastic friend. Look, I've had friends that worked at S&P Global, Deutsche Bank, State Street Bank. One of my fraternity brothers holds the record for the largest sale ever at Moody's. I think Moody's Bank has been around since 1919. A lot of my friends in finance, investment, etc. These guys, they don't know their ass from their elbow compared to Aaron with this recommendation of getting into silver. We have breached 119% so far this year in return on this physical asset that you can hold, is not manipulated by the big banks, is not manipulated by governments, has incredible industrial use and demand, military use and demand. I mean, it's just wild. Gold also, 4260 has been breached. You look at the gold chart on the 4-hour, gold is actually in a cup and handle or a W pattern, depending on how you look at it. So if we break through 4265 on gold per ounce, I think we challenge 4396. And we break the all-time high on gold. And after that, it's going to be off to the races. I've heard $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 an ounce on gold. Again, incredibly finite resource. We talked about it yesterday. You have all these random bizarre countries: Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Poland, Iraq, South Korea, of course the big players. They are just hoarding the super finite amount of gold supply on this planet. There is some industrial use, but it is a store of value and has been a currency for over 6,000 years. So I hold some gold. A few people asked in the comments. Fantastic asset. My focus, though, is silver. Silver, what are our targets? I mean, every single day we're just under 63.50 now. It's a similar pattern. If you look at the 1-hour chart, what we do is we keep forming these bullish wedges. It shoots up, forms another bullish wedge, consolidates, and continues to shoot up. Now, projections, I don't know. A little technical analysis here. You look at the length of the flagpole with some of these bull flags. You use Fibonacci extensions. What is Fibonacci? It's a mathematical pattern that was discovered around 1000 AD by an Italian mathematician. You see this repetitive mathematical pattern throughout the universe and throughout nature, from flowers to insects, seashells. You see it in the Giza pyramids, the Parthenon. You even see it in the mathematical structure of the Milky Way. But it also applies to the way stocks, investments, metals behave. So people use these Fibonacci extensions to, we're in uncharted territory. Every single day we're at all-time highs, breaking, making new all-time highs. So they use the Fibonacci extensions to try to determine maybe a target in no man's land here. But what an exciting ride. Now, I will say with these markets, getting back to those bull flags, we go up, we consolidate, we go up. And so on these consolidations, if you're not invested in physical metals, that is going to be your time to leg in. My nephew, fantastic young man, started legging into physical silver. Super proud of him. What I am doing as a side project, of course, I hold physical silver. As a side project, though, I am trading some of the miners, some of the Sprott funds, not financial advice. But on these pullbacks, like yesterday morning, I loaded the boat on First Majestic, Helka, Core, some of the others, because they got punished and pushed down. Now look at these. We are flying on these. I sold puts against Wheaton Precious Metals, another fantastic company. I want to own Wheaton Precious Metals, so I sold a put contract for 100 shares, expiry in March, because I want to buy it. But that put that I sold appreciated so much with this most recent rise, I bought it back for a pretty hefty, probably 40% profit. Now, you just look at some of these movements today. Let's see, Boab Metals, Southern Silver Exploration. If you follow some of the gurus, the furus on X, you're going to recognize some of these names. Aloro Resources, Santa Cruz Silver Mining. Santa Cruz was another that treated me well yesterday, even in the down markets. I should have held it. But there was some sort of talk about consolidating shares and a possible inclusion at some point into the NASDAQ. I don't know the truth behind that, but it was up like 15% yesterday. I sold into that strength. Made a really nice profit quickly. It's up another 11% today. Let's see, SilverX Mining. These are just some of the miners. Some people have asked me about miners. These are some that I hold. Let's see, I follow the futures, of course, and some of the gold miners. I mean, look at Barrick today. It's just God candles. Green, green, green. Newmont, another fantastic one. Let's see. I do follow copper as well. Copper's been on a run. One thing I did want to encourage you to look at is that GSR, the gold-silver ratio. We continue to approach more of a parity as silver explodes. Gold is going up here, silver is here. Now, you look at the ratios that could be mined out of the Earth's crust. I believe it's like a 7-to-1 silver to gold. And that's why it was so ridiculous earlier in the year. You had like 90-to-1 or 80-to-1 silver pricing to gold. Completely manipulated. Well, it's shrunk. We're at 67 and this thing continues to fall. So pay attention to that GSR. Some of the furus out there have said, you might want to divest of a little silver when it hits 35. I'm not going to do that. I mean, the true gold to silver ratio or silver to gold ratio would be 7-to-1. And then it would be equal, but there's more industrial use in silver, so I'm not prepared to sell at that point. We talked a little bit about the fractional reserve banking system yesterday, and I'm talking as much to myself as to anybody else. Do not hold a lot of cash in these regional banks or any bank. What they do is take your cash, then they go invest your cash. So they're making money off of you. They also are on the fractional reserve system. So with what, it's like 5 to 1 or 10 to 1. They're loaning out 5 to 1 or 10 to 1, whatever they actually have in reserves. It's basically a Ponzi scheme. And then when there's a run on the banks, you lose your money. Yeah, you're insured by the FDIC up to $250,000, but you know, if there's a market-wide crash, you never know what's going to happen. So why hold money in a continually debased, appreciating currency like the US dollar when you can put it into precious metals? You know, even if you take some of it out and you throw it into your investment account and you're playing around with Sprott funds or miners and you're buying the dips and then, you know, you're selling the rips, or maybe you just hold some of this stuff. This is not investment advice, but just trying to generate some new ideas here. One interesting thing that I saw is you wouldn't believe what one of the largest banks in this country is that has, you know, one of the largest reserves. It's not Citizens, it's not Bank of America, it's not some of the banks that you might use. It's Starbucks. You know, the Starbucks card. You know how many people have loaded $30, $50, $100 on those cards, and they just leave that cash in. And this actually occurs worldwide. They have a $1.85 billion reserve from people with Starbucks cards. And then people get email or text notifications and they're like, well, you're down to $7. That's not enough to pay for your pumpkin spice latte. You better deposit another 30. And people don't think anything of it. And they put money back onto that Starbucks card, and they should legitimately be registered as a bank or some sort of different financial status, because that just struck me as incredible that a coffee company has a more solvent reserve than a lot of these regional banks. So the message is get your money out of regional banks. Hey, I did want to give a practical tip also. You know, it's incredibly exciting times. We have gold crossing, what, 42, 40, that was a little earlier. But silver, you know, 63.50, just incredible. So, you know, I get so hyped up on these markets that it's kind of tough to go to sleep at night. So, you know, you try your relaxation techniques, your breathing techniques. You know, some people resort to pharmaceuticals, but I'm here to tell you, throw away the Ambien, throw away the Xanax, throw away the horse tranquilizer. Fantasy fiction, reading fantasy fiction before you go to sleep is the greatest sleeping pill that you can take. It expands your brain, you have fantastic dreams, and I can't recommend this book highly enough. It's Quoz, Q-U-O-Z, by Mel Madison. I believe it came out last year. It's fantastic, and they do talk about a lot about the fragility of the world economy, how it's all tied together with all these central banks that are run out of Basel, Switzerland by the Bank of International Settlements, how all this fiat currency is completely insolvent. They talk a lot about silver. When everything collapses, maybe penning a new currency to silver. So it's super interesting. I mean, it's got the romance, it's got the violence, it's got the intrigue, the espionage. Highly recommend Quoz. So give it a read and use it for the sleeping pill instead of the other stuff. Anyway, congratulations on yet another new high. Please like, subscribe, share, and we will talk to you soon. Happy investing.